Listen, these monkey films are like biblical epics. So I went back and watched all 10 Planet of the Apes movies for this new one, which I'll be trying to make a full timeline LME explained on. But even though this series started in the 60s, they're still monkeying around to this day. And I think all of them have still been just as good.
Together, strong.
It is one of those that you can watch without seeing the others, but one, those are great to catch up on, and this does take place like 300 years after that. And two, there's a lot of Easter eggs from the original 5 that make their way in here, and I thought they were pretty clever, and I can see what they're leading up to.
Yeah!
I'm not gonna lie though, this one is very patient. It's one of those that you may like talking about more than you would like rush to go rewatch, but it does have some of the most incredible visual effects that had me doing double takes like that Avatar frame from last year. It is an interesting take on what the apes did with the history of Caesar, and I do believe that they may be connecting all 10 movies in the franchise. So with a full spoiler warning, let me explain.
What did I miss?
So the movie begins with this opening text like Star Wars, letting you know the legacy of Caesar and how much was sacrificed in his name, and also that humans really suck. It reminds you that in this world, they killed themselves with a virus that they themselves created, which was then shown in the movie Rises, that brought the dawn of the apes, and then led to an all-out war that wiped out most of the people on Earth. That said, it did make the monkeys smarter, leaving the surviving humans to look like Flintstones that can't speak. That would then make Caesar their monkey Moses that freed them to the promised land, but then his sacrifice also treats him kind of like a messiah, even reminding you that his disciples have their own symbol that they wear like a cross, which came from that room window where he was raised.
Caesar, who is he?
Not is, was.
We then meet the new lead named Noah, who's out and about with his 2 buddies, Anaya and Suna, who he has a crush on, as they look for their eggs that they need to get for their bonding ceremony, where they connect with their soon-to-be eagles. Kinda think of it like Avatar with the Navis and their banshees.
Let's dance.
I do love how messed up the cities look though, because it's like the last of us, and it reminded me of the director's first short film, Ruined, that looks a lot like the setting that they have here, and that's actually what got him the Maze Runner series that he worked on, because he does the effects, so it's cool to see that he keeps his visual stamp everywhere.
Leave one, always. That is the law.
Since the area is uncharted, Noah does some ape core up the buildings to get his eggs, since he lives by the law that you never take them all from a nest, you always leave one. Reason being is that back home, his daddy is the leader of the village, and looks like he guided Mufasa.
Much to learn. Much to teach.
He's the one who's led this group by taming these eagles that they bond with, which then protects them and also helps them catch fish. But that night, Noah catches a human named May who's pulling a B&E on their food hunt, and as he tries to chase her out, boy busts his egg, meaning he's got none for the bonding ceremony next morning. So now he's got to go out and find another one as he ventures out into what the series has always called
the Forbidden Zone. Forbidden.
They were heading deep into the territory we call the...
Yes, I know the Forbidden Zone.
He then runs into a fellow chimp who's been attacked, and it turns out that there's a whole other group of apes that are, for lack of a better word, in a different clan. They're marching in with torches on horses. They got masks with eye holes. They're pretty much a militia that was created after the Civil War that happened in the last movie. And what's crazy is that they're attacking his village in the name of Caesar.
For Caesar!
As the dad tries to free the birds, Gorilla Grodd here comes in a flash and dukes it out with sticks and stones, only for the dad to get tased while Noah's shocked by the attack.
He stole my village.
I will find them. I will bring them home.
After burying his dad, he makes his way out and starts his hero's journey, only to fall like 5 minutes later. That's where he meets the best character of the movie though, named Raka, and he's one of the last followers from what is known as the Order of Caesar. He's also lost his partner to the same bad apes and believes that they hide behind masks because they're really just twisting Caesar's words.
He taught us decency and mercy. But now others take his name. I am Caesar!
And there's even this little thing where, spiritually, there's a lot of connections to Caesar through Noah. He's a chimpanzee, he has, destiny gave him the same scar right here, as you see in the movie, that the same birthmark that Caesar had, which some people caught in the trailer. He's Caesar, he's not, there's destiny at foot here, there's something mythic about it all.
After getting ape-pointed, Noah finds May robbing him again.
We will name her Nova. We name them all Nova.
It's interesting that Nova comes from the girl in war who Caesar got along with, so now Raka's influencing Noah to name the humans Nova, even though he calls them Echoes, but Nova, as we know, is going to be a name that sticks around to the original first movie. Plus, to Raka, anything that Caesar passed down is holy, since he considers him the first elder, so when he notices that a human and a bird keep following Noah around like a Navi, Raka believes it's his destiny to follow him too. The duo then travel on horse, with May hiding in the shadows, and man, it just looks incredible. I know this is the they're first under Disney, and you kind of feel it in some ways, but having that Disney research team that tends to take all of the people out, all of the animators, man, it shows in the visuals. Like, I'm rooting for Dune Part 2 to get the most Oscars, but I think I might have to give the VFX to this one.
We also have about 20 to 30 minutes of full CG, 100% CG. Every blade of grass and every tree leaf and bark in the background is all created digitally.
They stop at a cave and feed the girl as Rocka keeps teaching Noah mercy and compassion. And I know it's been a running look for the series to always have a girl that looks like Raquel Welch, but man, this girl looks like she looks like she's had an iPhone and a Sweet 16.
Nova
Is a
human.
who is
Hot. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
They come across a telescope that I feel is going to come back later in the series, but here it's mainly used to prove to Noah that May has the same wonder in her eyes as the apes do when she looks into it. And while I'll get back to my theories on it, at first I'm calling BS because I think that glass was too blurry to see anything.
Can you imagine?
Noah then puts compassion into action and has May join them in their travels, where they come across these zebras and what looks like her commune drinking near a watering hole. And I just find it funny how these animals talk about other animals in the wild. It's like the Mickey Mouse Club having Goofy wear gloves, but Pluto be on all fours. That's when Noah decides to cut the cast in half and is ready to leave them there without even saying goodbye. But before he goes, Rocka gives him the necklace that he's had this whole time as he decides to stay back with May in order to help them, in the words of Caesar.
Why do they hunt her?
She's smarter than most. She knows the human secrets.
Of course, the bad guys then gallop in and wrangle them like they did in the first movie, with them having a lot of similar shots to the original that I thought were pretty cool callbacks, but it's pretty rough. It's like watching the Harambe video, but as a movie clip. And even then, the first movie was worse. Almost as bad as that dude they lost in Ben-Hur. Turns out that they're also looking for May and are ready to capture her before she calls out to Noah with an extra emphasis on the
No!
He then swings by and picks her up fast and furiously as they medieval times their way out of there, reuniting after just splitting up 5 minutes ago.
I have a name. May.
Fast forward to the second act, and she finally reveals that she can speak, which leaves you wondering what else she has up her sleeves. Even though she doesn't have sleeves, but she tells them that she knows where Noah's group is, because technically she needs a ride and protection to get there too. After the movie, it did make me wonder, like, if she was just gonna get captured and sent there, why not do that from the beginning? But either way, he gives her his mother's cloth, which continues to show his mercy, but she then gives him a double look when he fixes the taser, realizing that this monkey's smart enough to fix weapons.
Go back.
On the way across the bridge, we see the scarecrows that were introduced in the first movie and possibly seeing their origin, because they then get trapped by the same clan who would be using those fear tactics. And I hated that midway through the movie, we lose my favorite character just because Noah keeps falling on his back. Like, Rocka really sacrificed himself for this girl because he really believes in WWCD.
Legend says ape and human lived side by side. Impossible as that may seem.
They then get sent to a prison that's run by the leader Proximus, who's been gathering a bunch of apes from around to create his kingdom and turning them into POWs.
Are we thankful for the words of Caesar?
This Bonobozo calls himself Caesar because he really thinks he's that guy. Like, he's even got a human librarian who reads him books about the Roman Empire just so he can repeat what humans did, since he both hates them but is like super obsessed with them. Like, this guy's really ruling like he's had Gladiator on repeat.
What a wonderful day!
He's also taken Caesar's quotes literally and thinks that apes together strong means enough to break the door, but even with all that Cobra energy, he can't get into that vault. I guess he put his stocks in the wrong place. May then meets William H. Macy's character, who's helping the apes, and she pretty much sees Trevathan? Like a traitor to mankind who just plays Reading Rainbow for monkeys. She says her group was killed by Proximus since they both wanted to get into the vault, but then his brotherhood steals their shelter. They complain about how things were and how things are, how the government went into hiding, and then May calls out Macy for being the human that helps the apes, while she just uses the apes.
This planet is not yours.
It's the one consistent thing in all 10 titles. Noah then reunites with his family and friends, and I love how his mom is hitting him with sign language, telling him to be careful because she knows they're being watched. But it's Suna who notices that he's a little different now, that he's been spending time with a human, who is now echoing off on him.
The elders did not tell us everything.
Noah then gets called in to help Proximus break through this vault because he knows that he's just a mortal ape, but he believes that whatever's inside is going to help his legacy and to rule. I'm just going to say that the performance capture was crazy from this cast. Owen Teague, who plays Noah, has slowly become that it boy, but it's Kevin Durand, who I've known since Lost, crushing it as Maximus. This man was capturing his motion at screenings. He won't stop walking like an ape. He keeps on doing the voice in every interview.
What a wonderful day! What a wonderful day! What a wonderful day! Just move forward. Enjoy this wonderful day.
Right. There it is again with the wonderful day.
It is a lot, but this man killed it. Noah then hits that turning point where he has to question what side he's going to be on, because as much as he's a rule follower, like we saw at the top, he knows that what they're doing is wrong. And so he has to stand up straight and for what he believes in, finally bonding with that eagle that's been following him the whole time.
Apes hunt humans. That is the law. But the law is wrong.
The trio then goes back to climbing as they go around the facility to set up explosives, according to May's plan. But that's when Macy catches them scheming. They argue about who created the world and who feels blame, what the future has. Then she chokes him.
Watch this.
Bruh, this scene caught me so off guard. Like, even the other three didn't see it coming. I had to check what the rating was on the movie. But after she Man of Steels him, they just make their way up to the entrance with them fully trusting each other now that they've hit a body. And Noah even learning some new vocab words along the way.
Sit!
May then walks around the building like she's at a shopping mall, knowing exactly where to go, turning on the electricity, and immediately going for the guns in the armory since it's a military base. And again, this is the same girl who was starving till some apes fed her? I told y'all she's seen screens and she's on a mission to get a satellite key. Meanwhile, the trio's playing monkey see, monkey do with the books, with Noah even touching a model of Saturn, which made me wonder if that's what he saw through the telescope. But there's also a chance that it could be the Icarus spaceship from the original that was mentioned in Rise when it leaves and also gets lost. But the fact that he says the phrase of it being a tunnel that eats light could be referring to a black hole or wormhole that can bring back time travel into the mix, just like the first 5 movies did. And it would explain why even modern May here was impressed by it. They also found the human doll that was seen in the first movie, which is really important because that was part of the fossils and artifacts that the monkey scientist Cornelius used to prove that apes did come from humans, which is a funny spin on
Evolution.
But it's also the doll that the lawgiver tries to hide because it doesn't fit their narrative. Here it's found in a scene where these curious Georges find out humans did hold them captive, and now it gets them to start questioning things. The same way I'm questioning how this doll's gonna end up in New York when I'm pretty sure it's in a completely different coast.
We'll have to move fast.
Once they open up the vault doors, they're greeted by the bad guys who see the tanks and are wowed by these new shiny weapons.
We want guns. Guns are power. Now we go and get guns.
And since they won't take a no from Noah, they give him the ultimatum of picking the humans or picking the apes. Or else they'll kill an ape, because he loves them. May then shoots the hench ape with a handgun, getting lucky Dirty Harry style, as she blows up the place clean off and drowns the military place with all the apes in it.
You would choose a human over an ape.
Everyone's drowning, so they're climbing to higher ground while also fighting in what looks like a massive jungle gym. And again, this comes from the writers of The Way of Water, who wrote the Caesar trilogy and produced this one. And it really does feel like Disney's now Marvelizing other franchises to kind of have like the same outline, but it does lead to another nasty drowning with the VFX looking absolutely insane.
You are no Caesar.
The surviving apes then make it to the top of the building where it looks like the Civil War set, and that's where Proximus beats up Noah to the edge for the 3rd time in the movie. So he does the last thing that you would do. Boy starts chanting. That gets the other chips to then chip in and start chanting with them as all the birds rally in and peck Proximus off the peak.
Bend for your king.
Never.
But hey, just like Rocka, no body, no crime, so you never know who's coming back. The final scenes then show the apes regather and pulling an exodus as the whole world becomes an animal farm to them. May then goes and delivers the satellite card to a bunker that has a whole-ass human organization living out of it. Now, one, she did talk about the government going into hiding, and it is interesting that they're inside wearing suits while she's immune to whatever virus leftovers there are or whatever climate that's changed to the point they can't be out there. But it did remind me of the twist in Beneath, where they find a bunch of humans living beneath the planet of the apes, and they all look like mentats who, get this, can cause illusions with their minds. Yeah, talking monkeys ain't the craziest part in the series. So knowing that a secret society will eventually become this cult that worships an underground bomb, I'm curious to see how they'll survive after being severanced off from the rest of the world.
They're mutant. And they're mad.
Either way, I knew she was an inside op. The director did say that he wants the sequels to focus on both Noah and May, meaning that we might get more of her backstory. If she's on the outside of that group, then maybe she did come from somewhere else, or some time else, which is why she may know so much.
Explain.
Knowing that the original 5 movies did get into time travel, then I think it's only a matter of time before these new ones bring it back, especially in this new trilogy or however many they're gonna go. And if it's not apes going back to the future, then it could be humans from the future coming back to the past. Part of the reason she even collects these chips is to help them contact other humans via satellite, with a fun Easter egg being them connecting with Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is actually where astronaut Taylor's from in the first film.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. Back on that planet you say you came from?
We then also see May show up dressed like Katniss, trying to apologize to Noah and convince him that not all humans are bad.
You cannot trust a human.
And it did feel a little times like they were trying to do some modern takes with it, because my audience was really tense whenever the human had the gun, as if the apes aren't gonna rule the world once they get them. There's this idea that the humans are the ones who always go bad while other animals may be different, as if we didn't just see a bunch of monkey radicals. Like, it flip-flops a lot, to the point that in the version I saw in theaters, Noah says the line, "Humans will never give up." When, one, neither did he, and two, they switched that line out in the trailer.
I will never give up.
Even the idea of questioning who came first is a little iffy to me, because they're all the same. The whole point of the franchise is about who has power and what they do with it.
We're both holding up a mirror to each other.
Noah then questions if humans and apes can ever really get along, as they cut to this girl holding her handgun behind her back, with the score making her seem suspicious. Like, bruh, she's half his size. I'd conceal carry a harpoon in this world. To me, it feels like a callback to the final shot of the whole series in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, where they retell the story of all the fights that led to humans and apes actually coexisting, even cutting to a shot of a Caesar statue that cries like the Virgin Mary, leaving it to you to wonder if it's a tear of joy or one of sadness for the future if peace doesn't last.
Should one murder be avenged by another? Only the future can tell. So let us start building it.
I guess you might say they just joined the human race.
In the end, Noah leads his family as they built up their kingdom, May goes out into the horizon Zero Dawn, and humans continue to do what humans know best: make sequels. Man, who am I kidding? I'll be there opening night to... Thank you all for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts on this movie or any other ones in the franchise or franchise in general. But my outro question is this: what is the best reboot? It can be a solo movie or a franchise, but what's the remake / reboot you'd argue lives up to or is even better than the original? I think this series is a solid response, because we're at the point where the director has called the last trilogy the Stone Age, and now this is the Bronze Age. Like, we're living in eras, but I just gotta give a shout out to the director, because I've been following him since his short films. I believe I've made videos on all the Maze Runner movies, and he just stands out because it's very rare that you get a director who's honest about premium tickets, because this guy came out and said you don't need to buy it in IMAX because it doesn't do the IMAX ratio. You don't need to get it in Dolby because I didn't mix the colors in Dolby like that. It's just a lot of honesty that I appreciate. Not everyone is honest when they go out there for their big blockbuster series that they're starting, so shout out to him. I'm excited to see a Zelda movie, especially since, he already had those eagles following Noah like Navi, and he's got those green visuals down. I gotta give a shout out to the music, which was also really solid. They got the prequel score from Giacchino, they got Goldsmith's original. I just like that they have the same, story themes, and then also the same music themes going on there. It's pretty cool. Other than that, I am chipping away at a full timeline video for all 10 movies, because they were pretty solid. I'm excited for that video, but I also want to make a theory video, so if you all have any thoughts, theories, comments, all of that, I'll make a little Let You Explain coming up after this one. But until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you Caesar's necklace.